All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, today's lesson, we are going to be going over basically the aftermath of the French Revolution. Okay. The Reign of Terror has ended. The Committee of Public Safety, they're done with. Robespierre is beheaded. He's done. Now it gets to the point of what do we do now? Okay. The French people have to ask themselves that question now. What do we do? We wanted this, the king and queen and all those nobles gone. We basically killed a lot of them, not all of them, but some. So now what do we do? And that's what today's lesson is about. And one person is going to emerge as the leader of France. So today's main thing is we're going to be looking at analyzing the rise of Napoleon. Okay, that's what our main focus on. Later on, next class, we'll be looking at the Napoleonic Code and things like that. So here is your warm-up picture. So my question to you is this. Analyze this picture, right? Front to back. Look at the colors, especially the colors, the tones, especially the background to the foreground, things that are in the front as opposed to the back and stuff like that. Look at the different colors that are used, okay? And tell me, what do you think this artist is trying to depict? How are they trying to show Napoleon as? How are they trying to represent him in this painting, in this picture? Okay. So look at it, analyze it, and tell me, all right? Look at his body language and, and everything, like I said, from the colors to the, the detail and things like that. Okay. So go ahead, write your response, pause the video because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right. So now it comes to it. The Reign of Terror's ended. Robespierre is gone. Now it comes to the point of like, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to allow people to vote? Because we just can't give everybody the right to vote because that's like 25 million people. We can't really count that many people. So they said, okay, well, we have to have qualified voters. Well, how do we qualify voters? What is a qualified voter? They basically said anyone who owned or rented property. So if you have a piece of land, and that's yours, you had the right to vote. Here's the problem. The country of France is 25 million people, and only because of this stipulation, because of this one rule, only 30,000 people could vote. So that's not really, a good representation of these people should have the right to vote and they decide what's best for this country. So the thing is the Constitution called for an executive group to be called as committee, and they were going to consist of 5 people. This committee was going to be called the Directory. Now again, it's just not very smart to have 5 people in charge of the lives of 25 million people. It's just not going to work. And it actually doesn't. It lasts for only about 4 years because, again, 5 people in charge of a whole country, those people are going to be corrupt. And that's the thing, guys. This is something you'll see time and time again throughout history. When people get power, they tend to become corrupt. Even the most good-hearted person, they may not be corrupt right away like that, but as time goes on, power does corrupt. And because of this, the people, the common person, was very upset. Okay. Now, on top of that, some people took advantage of a situation. Again, history repeating itself. You'll see this time and time again in history. When there is chaos, when there is turmoil, when there's war, people really become rich because they take advantage of the situation. So in this case, the French Revolution's over, and people were like, well, you know what? We can Well, you know that building that was destroyed? My company, we can build that building back up. It's going to cost you some money, because, hey, it's going to, to rebuild it, it's going to take some time and it's going to take manpower. So it's going to cost you. So the French government was like, yeah, okay, yeah, just build the buildings. We'll pay you. Well, then they ran out of money. So then people who had money were like, oh, yes, French government, we can lend you money, but we're going to have a high interest rate on you. Meaning when you pay us back, you're going to pay us back what you borrowed and more. And that more part is where it got high, So instead of say they borrowed $100,000 from somebody, if the interest rate's like 50%, they don't pay them $100,000. They have to pay them back $150,000. And if they don't pay it within a certain time, then that amount goes higher and higher. Okay, and you'll learn more about this when you get into economics and some of your math classes and stuff like that. So the common person was like, you know what? We got corrupt people up on top. We got people taking advantage of the government. We got these electors who just, don't know what they're doing. People are corrupt. Just things are horrible right now in France. Now, the Directory tried to maintain their power by using the one thing a lot of people in power try to use, and that's the military. They try to use their soldiers and generals and commanders to, keep the crowds from getting out of hand. But there was one military leader who said, no, I am not going to go against the people of France. I'm not going to turn on them. I'm going to turn on you. And that guy, his name was Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte was a very successful and very popular general at that time. Okay. And in 1799, he was able to topple the Directory by staging a coup d'etat. Now, that's how you say that word, C-O-U-P, the D'-E-T-A-T, coup d'etat. It's French. And what does it mean? It means a quick overthrow of the government. So if you've been following the news, what happened in January 6th at the Capitol building, that was a coup. That's another word for it, coup. It was a coup d'etat. They try to overthrow the government, try to say, Biden didn't win, and they want to put Trump as president again. They try to overthrow the government. So those guys didn't succeed, but Napoleon was able to succeed, and he basically seized power. Now, here's the thing I want you to realize. I want you to step back and look at this. The French Revolution was about getting rid of the king and noblemen and clergymen because they were too corrupt and they didn't care about the people, and they wanted to get rid of the whole king and things like that. Why leave one person in charge of a whole country? Now they had the revolution, 300,000 people die, things like that. It comes full circle, and now here we are back at where we're starting. Because now this guy Napoleon is going to be taken over, and you're going to see how in a second. Now, before we get to this, you have to know who Napoleon is. He was born in 1769, right? Now, his family was not rich, but they weren't like dirt poor either. They were like in between poor and middle class. So the family struggled a little bit, it wasn't all peaches and sunflowers and stuff like that. No. They did have to struggle. But here's the thing. Napoleon showed that he was very talented, very smart young man, and he was able to win a scholarship to a very famous military school in France. Now, while at school, he, did his work, things like that, studied and things like that. And when he finished, he was appointed as a lieutenant in the French army. Now, the people, his peers, who went to school with him, who, were at the same level as him, they really didn't like him too much. Because the thing is, he was born on an island that was once controlled by Italy. So the people there were basically Italians, but now they're French. And he spoke French with an Italian accent. So a lot of these French soldiers in the military were like, "What's wrong with your accent? Why don't you speak French the right way?" and things like that. So they mocked him and they didn't like him, thinking like, "Oh, you're trying to be like one of us, but you're not one of us." So this and some people can say it motivated him to go try harder, be better, things like that. And he climbs up the ranks pretty quick. He became a captain in 1792. 2 years later, the Committee of Public Safety, the one that Robespierre was in charge of, they decide to make him a brigadier general because, again, he is showing that he is one heck of a soldier. 2 years later, after that, he's the commander of the French army in Italy. Why is he there? Because, again, he's born there. He's from that area. He can understand Italian, you know. So if people saying stuff, he can understand what they're saying. And he knows that terrain. He knows that area because he's from that place. He's from that area. Now, what makes Napoleon stand out compared to other commanders in the French army? Basically, it's three things. One is the speed. His speed of him being able to charge and attack, move his men from here to here, quick, fast, and in a hurry. It was very impressive. The other thing was the element of surprise. He could be like marching his group right towards an enemy, and next thing you know, right when they're about to attack, here comes guys from the sides, or flanking them from behind and things like that. He was very, very good at that. And the other thing was decisiveness. Things didn't go right. His plan wasn't going the way he wanted. He could, instead of being like, no, he could just be like, okay, send this group over here, send the cavalry to support those guys, do this, do that. I mean, and he had something to do. He knew what to do based off the terrain and things like that. And on top of that, history. What worked before in other battles? When in a certain battle, when their backs were against a mountain, what did that army do right and what did they do wrong? He was very decisive. He knew what to do. And he won a lot of battles. Did he lose? Yeah. But it wasn't like major battles. But he did win a lot of battles. Now, it's because of these wins, his troops loved him. They absolutely loved Napoleon. It's the same thing like I said in class. It's like, what kind of people love Tom Brady? Basically, Patriot fans and Buccaneers fans. Why? Because he's helping them win. Or he helped them win. Everyone else around the league, oh, dude, I hate him. Oh, yeah, no, Tom Brady. So that's why those people love him because, hey, he led them to victory. He won championships for them. Same thing with Napoleon. He's winning battles, winning wars. So his people love him. And word spreads to France that, hey, there's this commander. His name is Napoleon Bonaparte. He is amazing. He's racking up the wins for us. So when he returns to France in 1799, he's seen as a hero. And then this is where the directory basically tells him, we need you to basically be our police against the people. And he's like, no. The people love me. Why would I turn against them? In fact, I'm going to turn against you. So, again, he does the coup. He's successful. And then he says, you know what? I'm going to help you guys set up a new government. I'll be a consulate. I'll be like the one to help you guys out, set things up and things like that. Now, a lot of people were like, oh, thank you, Napoleon. Oh, you're so amazing, so great. But in actuality, he's setting himself to be the next ruler of France. And you're going to see how in a second right now. So what he does, he says, you know what? I think we should make these guys officials, make these guys in charge of policies and things like that. Oh, yes, 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 that's a great idea. He controlled the army. Hey, he's like, you know what? Hey, all the soldiers know me, they love me, they respect me. I'll control them, you know. Oh yeah, 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 you're great, you're amazing, your record is phenomenal. He's like, you know what? On top of that too, these other countries, you know, Germany, England, Russia, Spain, you know, Portugal, Italy. I've dealt with them before. You know what? I'll handle negotiations with them. Oh yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely. And for the laws and stuff like that, yeah, if you need help, I'll gladly help you. In fact, I got some ideas of some laws we could do. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, whatever you say. So basically, he's setting himself up. And in 1802, he's appointed consul for life. They're like, "Oh, your ideas, your help is so greatly appreciated. We want you to do this for life." And then 2 years later, he's like, "You know what? Since I'm doing all this stuff, I might as well be the Emperor of France." And he basically deems himself Emperor Napoleon the First. Now, like I said in class, that outfit you see him wearing right there in that picture, that's a legit outfit he was wearing. He posed with that, with the scepter and all that stuff, you know. Yeah, that's legit. He actually wore that stuff. Okay, he had no problem posing for that painting. So here is my question to you. With Napoleon now emperor, do you think all those people who died during the French Revolution, remember the whole thing of the French Revolution was to get rid of the king, the nobleman, so that no one person's like in charge of everything. And now here they are. They killed so many people, things like that, and they're right back to where they started. Do you think all those people who died during the French Revolution died for nothing? Or do you think, no, 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 they got rid of something, you know, that they thought was bad, and now they have something else, but it's not as bad. So yeah, things got better. Those people didn't die for nothing. Or do you think, no, 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 you went full circle. You're right back to where you began. What do you think? How do you see it? Okay. So with that being said, once you answer this question, you're done with this lesson. Okay. So you guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.